The Sugar Veil Short Story by JameliaAlicia. A classic way of making donuts is unclassified in modern-day baking. Thinking outside the box, and even being a signature baker, are full of surprises. As for myself, I like to use my secret weapon to lure my customers in and hypnotize their senses with mysterious flavors and childhood memories of chocolate fudge and ice cream. As for you, welcome to my world of baking and hidden agendas. Even the most sacred recipes have a dark past. I, myself, Epiphany Rose Wood, is the master behind the world of baking. In a quiet corner of North London, tucked between a florist and a newsagent, stood Rosewood Bakery, famous for its warm donuts and the shy woman who ran it. Epiphany Rose Wood was admired by neighbors as gentle, talented, and impossibly polite. Men lingered at her counter longer than necessary, and customers praised her recipes as if they were magic. Beneath her timid smile, however, Epiphany hid a dangerous need for control and precision in getting it right. She was narcissistic in ways no one suspected. She remembered every customer's order, every routine, every careless confession spoken while waiting for coffee. Her bakery was not merely a shop, it was a stage, and she decided who deserved admiration, affection, or punishment. Though reserved in public, Epiphany could be unexpectedly flirtatious when it suited her. She understood how easily certain men mistook kindness for invitation, and she often used her baking as a subtle lure. That talent would become both her greatest weapon and the beginning of her downfall. One rainy winter evening, the bell above the bakery door rang at exactly 7 minutes past 8. Epiphany looked up from the marble counter, flour dusting the sleeves of her pale cardigan. She offered the customer the same soft smile she offered everyone, a smile that revealed nothing. Outside, rain glazed the pavement of North London, turning the streetlights into trembling ribbons of gold. Inside, the bakery smelled of vanilla, cinnamon, and hot sugar, a scent that made customers feel safe before they realized they had relaxed. The man who entered shook rainwater from his umbrella and smiled at her. "You're still open," he said. "For another hour," Epiphany replied quietly. He was handsome in a careless way she disliked. Expensive watch, untied scarf, confidence that expected warmth from strangers. She noticed the wedding ring immediately. She always noticed rings. "I've heard your donuts are famous," he said. People often said that. They said it with laughter, flirtation, and the eagerness of children approaching a sweet shop. Epiphany lowered her eyes modestly, pretending praise embarrassed her, though in truth praise fed her vanity and raised her ego. "Which would you recommend?" he asked. She studied him for a moment longer than was polite. "The honey cardamom," she answered. "It leaves an impression." He laughed. "Then I'll trust the expert." Epiphany boxed the donuts carefully, tying the ribbon with delicate precision. The man watched her hands. "Do you bake everything yourself?" he asked. "Yes." "That must take passion." The word lingered between them. Men liked to imagine hidden depths in quiet women, and Epiphany understood that weakness intimately. When she handed him the box, their fingers brushed. He smiled as if the touch were accidental. She knew it was not. "Perhaps I'll come back tomorrow," he said. "You'll remember the way," she replied. He left with the box tucked beneath his arm, and the bell chimed once more. Silence returned to the bakery. Epiphany walked to the door and turned the sign from open to closed, even though it was not yet closing time. She stood motionless, listening to the rain strike the windows. 3 streets away, Detective Constable Maya Bennett sat beneath the harsh light of a police station office, studying a missing person report. Male, 38, last seen in North London. Phone switched off. No known enemies. Attached to the file was a crumpled receipt recovered from the man's coat pocket. Rosewood Bakery. Maya circled the name with her pen. It was the 3rd missing man connected to the bakery in 6 months. Over the following weeks, Maya visited the shop repeatedly. Epiphany was always polite, always composed. She offered tea, remembered Maya's preferred pastry after only one visit, and answered every question with careful restraint. Yet something about her calmness unsettled the detective. Most people grew nervous under police attention. Epiphany seemed to enjoy being observed, and that's what made her sinister. As Maya dug deeper, she discovered that each missing man had become unusually close to the baker before disappearing. Neighbors remembered seeing them linger after closing time, carrying boxes tied with the same pale ribbon. No physical evidence linked Epiphany to any crime, but the pattern grew impossible to ignore. One evening, Maya returned to the bakery after hours. The windows were dark except for a single light glowing in the kitchen. Epiphany opened the door before Maya knocked, as if she had been expecting her. "You work very late," Maya said. "So do you," Epiphany replied. The detective's eyes fell upon a notebook lying open on the counter. Names filled the pages in neat handwriting, each accompanied by a single word: admiration,
desire, pity,
indifference. The missing men all appeared beneath the same heading. Maya looked up sharply. "What is this?" Epiphany closed the notebook gently. "A record of how people see me." The bakery smelled overwhelmingly sweet. Epiphany placed a freshly baked donut on a plate and slid it across the counter. "People taste what they want to believe," she said softly. Maya stared at the pastry without touching it. Rain rattled against the windows, and the silence between the two women tightened like a wire. For the first time, Epiphany's timid mask slipped, revealing a flicker of cold satisfaction in her eyes. What was she doing? And what was her agenda? The detective did not know whether she was facing a murderer or a woman who had learned to turn fear itself into power. The donut sat untouched between them, warm and fragrant, while North London disappeared into the rain beyond the glass. The scary thing about this all was that Epiphany Rose Wood was one of the murderers of the 21st century who was not afraid to look into a police officer's eyes. Maya kept her hands at her sides. The donut rested on the plate between them, its glaze catching the yellow light from the kitchen. Steam rose faintly from its surface. Epiphany watched her with the patience of someone waiting for a confession rather than an answer. "You think I'm afraid of a pastry?" Maya asked. "I think you're afraid of being wrong," Epiphany replied. The words settled heavily in the room. Outside, a bus hissed through the rain-soaked street, and the sound faded into the distance. Maya glanced again at the closed notebook. The neat columns of names disturbed her more than any threat could have done. 3 men are missing, she said, all connected to this bakery. And London loses people every day. Not like this. Epiphany tilted her head. You've already decided what I am, detective. Why keep asking questions? Because Maya had not decided. That uncertainty was the problem. There was no blood, no witness, no body. Only a pattern and a woman whose calmness felt rehearsed. Maya stepped closer to the counter. Tell me about Daniel Mercer. For the first time, a faint change crossed Epiphany's face. Not fear, annoyance. He bought doughnuts, she said. He spent nearly an hour here the night he disappeared. He enjoyed talking. He told friends he was seeing someone. Epiphany smiled thinly. Men often say that after a pleasant conversation with a woman. Maya opened the notebook before Epiphany could stop her. Daniel Mercer's name appeared halfway down the page. Beside it was written a single word. Desire. Why categorize people? Maya asked. Epiphany folded her hands. Because everyone categorizes me. Maya looked up. The shy baker, Epiphany continued. The lonely woman. The harmless woman. Men come in here and invent stories about me before I've spoken a sentence. Some imagine rescuing me. Some imagine possessing me. Very few see me. The rain intensified, drumming against the windows. So you punish them? Maya asked quietly. Epiphany's eyes remained steady. Punishment implies anger. Then what would you call it? Correction. A chill moved through Maya despite the warmth of the bakery. She slipped the notebook into an evidence bag. I'm taking this. You don't have a warrant. I have reasonable grounds. Epiphany did not protest. Instead, she walked to the espresso machine and began preparing coffee as though they were discussing the weather. Black, isn't it? She asked. Maya stared at her. How do you know that? You've ordered it every time you visited. The detective realized, with sudden discomfort, that she too had been studied. Epiphany set a cup on the counter. You see? You notice me because I notice you first. Maya ignored the coffee. Where are the missing men? Epiphany's expression softened into something almost sympathetic. You want a simple answer because simple answers make the world feel safe. Did you kill them? The question hung naked in the air. Epiphany did not blink.
No.
Maya listened for hesitation and heard none. That frightened her more than a lie. A phone vibrated in Maya's pocket. She stepped aside and answered. Bennett. Detective Inspector Harris's voice crackled through the line. We found Mercer's car. Maya straightened. Where? Abandoned near Hampstead Heath. No sign of him. Maya looked toward Epiphany, who was calmly wiping flour from the counter. I'm on my way, Maya said. When she ended the call, Epiphany spoke without looking up. You won't find him there. Maya froze. How would you know that? Epiphany finally met her eyes. Because people who wish to disappear rarely stay where they're expected. The statement could have been insight. It could have been a confession disguised as philosophy. Maya moved to the door. Don't leave London. Epiphany gave a small laugh. This bakery is the only place I've ever belonged. The detective stepped into the cold rain. The sweet warmth of the shop vanished behind her, replaced by the smell of wet pavement and traffic fumes. She walked quickly toward her car, clutching the evidence bag beneath her coat. Halfway down the street, she stopped. Through the bakery window, she could see Epiphany standing perfectly still, watching her leave. Then, with deliberate calm, the baker reached beneath the counter and drew out another notebook. Maya's pulse quickened. Epiphany opened it, uncapped a fountain pen, and wrote a new name. Maya Bennett. Beside it she added a single word. Curiosity. What was Epiphany about to do?